A prolonged conflict in the Middle East will drastically inflate the daily cost of Canadian living within months. The geographic epicenter of this economic shock is the Strait of Hormuz. This narrow waterway carries 20% of the world's oil supply and 38% of all crude exports. Even minor disruptions here cause crude prices to spike above $100 a barrel as global markets react to the threat of a supply cutoff. A bottleneck in this strait serves as an immediate, unavoidable tax on global movement. It is easy to assume that Canada's position as the world's fourth largest oil producer protects us from these supply shocks. But we operate in a global market. Canadian oil isn't reserved at a domestic discount. It's sold to the highest bidder. When Middle Eastern supply shrinks, the global pool drains, forcing international buyers to bid up every remaining barrel, including Canada's. Domestic resource wealth provides no price immunity. Canadians are forced to pay the same inflated global premium as every other nation. The first layer of this cascade hits immediately at the local gas pump. In a country 7,000 kilometers wide, diesel transportation is a massive, unavoidable cost. Every grocery item you buy carries that fuel surcharge in its price tag. There is also an agricultural choke point to consider. The Middle East produces roughly 30% of the world's fertilizer. As the price of both fertilizer and diesel surge simultaneously, the cost of staples like produce and rice follows. At the checkout counter, you aren't just paying for the calories on your plate. You are paying for the massive energy inputs required to grow and move them. Beneath the surface, energy serves as the invisible plumbing for global manufacturing. It is a critical input for everything from industrial plastics to microchips. When those production costs rise, businesses pass them on to you, driving up the national inflation rate. This forces the Bank of Canada to act. Its primary tool for fighting inflation is monetary policy, the management of the money supply and interest rates to keep prices stable. This chart shows how surging inflation prevents interest rates from falling. To keep prices under control, the bank must keep rates at a 2.25% floor. This erases any prospect of near-term relief for mortgage renewals, rent increases, or the cost of basic borrowing. Ultimately, the outcome of a distant maritime conflict dictates the cost of keeping a roof over your head in Canada. What happens to the Canadian economy if this conflict evolves into a multi-year maritime war? We have seen this before. During the energy shocks of the 1970s, disrupted supply led to consumer rationing and widespread panic at the pumps. These prolonged supply shocks resulted in stagflation, a state where high inflation occurs while economic growth remains stagnant. Stagflation creates a dual crisis. Your cost of living increases while your actual purchasing power and the broader economy grind to a halt. History proves that prolonged energy disruptions fracture consumer purchasing power for years, far outlasting the impact of any temporary recession. Decades of just-in-time globalization, the practice of moving goods exactly when they're needed to minimize storage costs, have left our current supply chains even more fragile than they were in the 70s. The rising costs of gas, the price of groceries, and the cost of housing are direct, visible symptoms of that global fragility. In a hyper-connected world, a localized conflict thousands of miles away is an active force rewriting your personal financial reality.